Hey guys, my name's Gavin and welcome back to a brand new video. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make melodies for Roddy Ricch, more specifically Spanish guitar, that kind of stuff. Follow me on Instagram if you haven't already at gavinhadley_. DM me, I always want to work with people. Send me your loops to gavinhadleybeats@gmail.com and check out my website down below. I have a couple kits up that you can go check out. Yeah, join my Discord. What else can I ring off while I'm at it? I don't know. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so I started out in Contact just using my go-to guitar bank, which is the Evolution Modern Nylon guitar bank, and I used this 2 to Tango preset. That's like my go-to one. I use it in basically all my Spanish guitar beats. I just think it's a really clean, cool sound. And yeah, so it's a really interesting melody. It's pretty spread out, and the reason that it's interesting, in my opinion, is this. So if you zoom in here, these were all just like this. This is just an A sharp power chord. So it's the root, which is A sharp, the 5th, and then A sharp, the root, just in an octave higher. So it's a power chord to start off, and then it goes down to the power chord just in a lower octave, and then it goes back up to a C sharp major chord, and then I just drop the root note down 1, which makes it an F minor chord, but then the 5th would just be inverted down an octave. Then I go back to that C sharp here, and then I go back to it again, except I put it down an octave. So this melody has a lot of movement to it. Normally when I would make my melodies, I would leave everything strummed up just like this, but I decided to put some of these chords down an octave instead, just to do something unique. I feel like that's definitely something that doesn't happen a lot in rap music, or just in the loops when people make loops in general. So yeah, and then after that I just have this, which is a C sharp major chord again, and then I just go back to that again. So yeah, really simple progression for the first part. Second part, I drop down to an F sharp major chord, F sharp major down here, just inverted down an octave, C sharp major again, F minor with the top inverted again, so it's the same as this. But then here I drop down to an F major, and then another F major, then I go back up to an A. No, this is not an A. This is actually the same thing, just with the root notes up an octave. And so this progression wasn't originally this crazy. But when I went in to add a bass, again with Contact, the Scarby Rickenbacker bass, this is the bass line that I came up with, which kind of altered the way that I did these last 2 chords. So yeah, that's what it sounds like. Just following the root notes here. And then this A is the leading tone in the scale. And even though the root note isn't in A for this last part here, you would think they would clash, but they really don't, in my opinion. I actually like the way they sound quite a lot. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay. So yeah. So this is what that all sounds like. Or I'll get rid of the top melody here. Yeah, so that's that. Really simple progression. I know it looks all over the place. I did Alt R on it, and then I just strummed everything, which gave it the more. It's all in triplets too. If you zoom in here, you can see that it's in triplets. I'll change the helper. Yeah, so the whole thing's in triplets. I think that's something that's really cool that you can do when you're trying to make these guitar beats for Roddy Ricch using triplets. And yeah, just trying to make something dark. Not too sad, not too happy, just kind of in the mix, just a little like angry kind of chord progression. So after that, I can erase this, and then we'll get our top line back. And this top line is really what made it the melody that it is. It's really just going up and down the scale. I say it in every single video, going up and down the scale. I like the way these F sounded all together, and in Spanish guitars, there's a lot of that repetitive continuous plucking going on with the guitar strings, so that's why I added this right here. Just a lot of runs going up and down the guitar. So this is one example of a run, and I thought that this F did a really good job at like capping off the sequence. We're gonna look at all of these. It's like different sequences. So this is like the call right here, I would say, for this melody. You could argue that this part could be the call and that could be the response, but I think once we get into the second part, this would actually be the response to the melody. All right, so an easy way to create variation in your melody, even though like you're playing the same notes, is once I copy this over, and if I were to like even out all these notes here, put them all on C5, it's actually the same rhythm. All I did was add a little bit of variation to where I say a little bit, a lot of variation to where the different notes were playing. So yeah, so that's that right here. Oops. Okay. So I'm just using notes in my scale. I went up to a G sharp right here, and then I went back down, same as that, same right here as well. And then I duplicated that over, and instead of having this note go down, I just brought it back up to an F sharp, and then back down to the F, because I thought that that note did a really good job at summarizing, or not summarizing, capping off the melody sequence and giving it a good sense of closure. So that's why I did that, and then I'm pretty sure it's just the same on the second half. Yeah, basically the same pattern throughout the 4 bars, or the 8 bars, except I have a little bit of switch up with the chord progression there, and I just did Alt R, and then I added one effect to it. I'll show you the effect. It's cassette, and it's the inside bass side preset, and I turn the stability all the way up and the static all the way down, and I use that effect on basically all my guitars. But yeah, I showed you the bass line already, just following the root notes. I had to do a little like working backwards in order, like I made this this bass line, and then I worked backwards to make the melody and the chord progression fit with that. And then after that, I have this arcade here. I'll play it. Wait, I actually didn't end up using that. So forget the arcade. I didn't end up using that. I thought that the melody was still a little bit too busy with it. But then after that, I move on to a piano, which just, it looks really daunting. It's all spread out and stuff. But all it really is the root notes. So we have the power chord right here. I just added a lot of octaves. A sharp was our root note. So we have an A sharp, then we have an F, and another A sharp, another A sharp. So it's just really a bunch of octaves. Actually, I'll solo that so you can hear it a little bit better. Like that, using octaves is definitely something that you can do to help add a lot more depth to your melodies. So then I go up, and then I made sure to strum everyone, and I did Alt R on them as well. And this is the softest piano. It's called softest piano inside of Keyscape. And then I added these D sharps right here, and then an A here and a C here to help pass. They're like passing tones, and that can help transition the chord progression. And I really like these last 2 chords and how they pair, even though they're the same as the guitar. I liked how I was able to structure them so they just add a lot more depth to that part and make it sound a lot more dramatic and full. So yeah, overall I really like that. I put cassette on it again, and a little bit of reverb. Cassette, same preset, same thing. I really like that preset. I think it does a really cool job at making stuff just sound unique. But yeah, after that I have this one shot. This is really something cool that you can do with one shots to give them a lot more uniqueness is by reversing them. So these are all reversed. I reversed them so they would reach their peak right about at the start of the next one. And to do so, because sometimes when you do this, your stuff's going to be screwed up, you just mess with this length knob until you get it where you want it to be. And this is just following the root notes of the scale for the most part, or of the chord progression. So yeah, and I just drowned that in reverb. I use Valhalla Vintage Verb. If you don't have that, I highly recommend that you pick it up if you're looking for a reverb. I think it does a really cool job at making stuff sound spacey and whatnot. So yeah, so after that I just structured everything out like I normally do. I rendered out all these midis to wave files, and then I chopped them all so they're all 8 bars long, they don't go over that, and then I have them all playing at the start. We can get rid of these now and disregard these 2. These are the ones I bounce them out, so I have them all here playing, and then I just have one at a time after that. I bounce them out into this file. It sounds like this. then I put Ozonate Elements on it, and I used the Huge Guitars preset just to bring out everything and make it a little bit louder and wider. And it also adds a little bit more high end to the sample, which I think is important. I feel like samples with a lot of high end, not an overly used amount of high end, but like a good amount of high end, just do a really good job sounding more realistic and just cool. So then after that, I just duplicated this one, made it unique, and turned the pitch all the way up. And then I tucked it in the back, and then I added micro shift on it and reverb again. That's what that sounds like. Something I do a lot of my samples, but once you have this other one playing, because it sounds kind of ugly by itself, but it does a good job complementing the finished sample since it's tucked, and it just has a lot of reverb on it. So yeah, this is what the final sample sounds like. So yeah, that's basically it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys were able to learn something for this. I think this is like a really unique melody. All the different tips that I shared throughout this video. Definitely one of my most like unique tutorials in my opinion so far. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Again, follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. DM me, talk to me, say hi, join my Discord. I'm saying all the stuff I started at the beginning of the video. But yeah, have an awesome rest of your night, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.